Namaskaram, 1000 names and 1000 stories, 369th name, DAAMODARAAYA NAMAH. One day, a disciple approached Srimad Injimettu Alagiya Shingar, the 42nd Jeer of the Srimad Ahobilam Mutt, with a question that seemed bold. The disciple asked, Swami, why did Alvar sing something that appears to be incorrect? Taken aback, the Acharya gently inquired, What are you saying, my child? The disciple continued, In the Thiruvaimozhi, composed by Nammalvar, there is a verse that describes Krishna being tied to a pounding mortar with a rope. The Alvar uses the word Uravidai in Tamil, which implies around the chest, as Uram in Tamil refers to the chest. But according to the Bhagavata Purana, the traditional Purana, wasn't Krishna tied by Yashoda around his waist? Why then did Nammalvar choose a word that suggests otherwise? The Pitathipati Srimad Injimettu Alagiya Shingar gently replied, I do not know at the moment. We shall look into it. The disciple accepted the response and returned home. There, a close friend who had overheard the conversation approached him and said, It seems the way you posed the question to your Acharya was not quite right. That is probably why he chose not to answer immediately and simply said we should look into it. When we present a doubt before our Guru, shouldn't it be done with utmost humility and reverence? Think about it. Nammalvar, who composed Thiruvaimozhi under the direct grace and divine inspiration of the Lord himself, would ever use a word loosely or incorrectly? Just because we do not understand the meaning or depth of the word, can we assume it to be wrong? Perhaps you could try asking the question again, this time a little more humbly and reflectively. You might then receive a deeper answer from our Guru. The disciple once again approached Sri Alagiya Shingar, humbly prostrated at his feet, and said with folded hands, Swami, kindly forgive me. I now realize that I lack the learning and depth of understanding required to grasp the true meaning behind the words used by Nammalvar. With your boundless compassion, I pray that you explain to me the deeper significance of that verse. Sri Injimettu Alagiya Shingar gently responded, Yes, it is indeed true that Yashoda tied the rope around the waist of her son Krishna and then to the pounding mortar. But there are two beautiful explanations for why Nammalvar used the word Uravidai in his Thiruvaimozhi verse. The first explanation is this. In Sanskrit, the word Udaram means stomach. The phrase Udaravidai would thus mean a rope around the stomach. But for the sake of poetic rhythm and elegance, this has been gracefully adapted as Uravidai in the verse, a subtle shift in the form to suit the flow of the Tamil compositions. The second explanation arises if we interpret Uram to mean chest. Then the phrase Uravidai would mean that Krishna was tied by a rope around his chest. Even this, my child, carries a profound secret. Whenever the Lord accepts the love and surrender of his devotees, he never does alone. He always acts in unison with Mahalakshmi, his divine consort. And where does Mahalakshmi reside? On his chest. So, when Krishna was tied by Yashoda, Mahalakshmi, who never leaves his side, was also bound along with him. Thus, The rope tied around the chest symbolically includes her as well, showing that the divine couple are always inseparable even in their leelas. This is why the word Uram, meaning chest, appears in the verse. It is not a mistake, but a mystical truth veiled in poetic beauty in Damodara Leela. Hearing this explanation, the disciple was overwhelmed. Reflecting on both Lord's compassion and the Guru's wisdom, he was filled with awe. He fell at the holy feet of Alagiya Shingar, received his blessings, expressed his gratitude to the friend who had guided him, and then departed from the mutt. Damam means rope. Udaram means stomach. Because Krishna was tied with a rope around his stomach, he is called Damodara, which is the 369th holy name in the Vishnu Sahasranama. To this day, devotees who chant Daamodaraya Namaha daily with love and devotion continue to bind Krishna with their bhakti, that is devotion. Narayana, Narayana.